I think it's finally time I make this video. What is good, YouTube? It is James here coming back at you guys with another video. And in today's video, I'm gonna explain to you guys how I turned my sneaker collection way back in 7th grade into the empire I have created today. So to give you a backstory, I didn't really care about shoes until about 7th grade, until I started seeing my friend Chance and Tiger wearing retros. They kind of like caught my eye. They were friends with me at the time, and I wanted to get into it too. So back then, when I started, I had probably 2 shoes to my name. I think one of them was a Chris Paul Jordan and a blue Hyperdunk. And I believe this was way back in 2011. So first step was to figure out how to get the retros. My friend Tiger explained to me that I have a way to get into the employee store just like him. His mother was a teacher. She was able to get him in. And my mom is a vendor because she flies for UPS, which is the shipping company that Nike uses. So that's how we were able to get into the Nike employee store, which was right near my house. And I was very, very lucky because there's only 3 Nike employee stores in the world. And they're in Memphis, Portland, which are the headquarters, and Greenland, New Hampshire, because one of the founders grew up in Exeter. So basically the way it worked is when a shoe dropped on a Saturday, employees had first dibs on the shoes. If you worked for Nike, you were able to get first dibs on any of the retros, any of the Nike drops, Kobe's, KD's, LeBron. Then came Sunday, which was for the vendors, anyone else that could get in, the teachers, the firemen, the police officers, and the pilots for UPS. So since I lived within 10 minutes of this place, I was lucky enough to put chairs out the night before, and I was always top 10 in line. No matter what, we went over at 6 a.m. Drops, the doors open for the release at noon. And to tell you what the Nike employee store is, it is everything Nike 50% off. So back then, retros were $160 and I was getting them for 80 bucks. The Kobe 8 was that year, I believe, and we were getting those for 80 bucks. LeBrons we were getting for 100, and KD's we were getting for 75. Actually, KD's we were getting for 65. And the first couple times I had the shoes, it was like awesome. I wore some of them, like, wow, I got these for half price, I'm gonna wear them. And then something clicked in my head. So I created an eBay account and a PayPal account, and I started selling these shoes. Yes, Nike doesn't like resellers, but I took an opportunity to make some money to grow a sneaker collection bigger. At the time, my mom helped me get my first sneaker, and after that, I kind of ran away with it. So after I made sales, I went to every release and I kept buying, whether it was a Kobe, a LeBron, a KD, and a retro. And a lot of the retros just sat around there, which is crazy because they would sell everywhere else. This is when retros used to sell out. And this was when I was in 7th grade through 8th grade. Now, the spring of freshman year, I believe, is when the employee store closed. And at the time, my collection was probably 25 to 35 sneakers. I don't remember 100%. But when it closed for a year, I didn't have any way of getting a discount on a shoe or anything. I just had to work through the Facebook groups of my area, doing some trades, maybe some buys. And I had to stay steady around 25 to 30 shoes for a whole year. So then, when I turned 16, I realized I had to do something. I went to my local mall and I applied to Foot Locker out of the blue. There was one person at Foot Locker I already kind of knew. His name was Chris. I knew he was from around here. I didn't know what town, but I've seen him around, especially at some of the sneaker events. And we actually grew a bond and friendship, and now we're best friends to this day, and we're actually going to London together for SneakerCon at the end of this month. And also a really good friend of mine was Rico, who was the assistant manager there at the time. He was the one who saw my profile, brought me in for an interview. I did have a very interesting interview. I was interviewed in one of the aisles instead of at like a table. I had a chair and then they were just standing interviewing me, asking me questions. I walked out of the building and then an hour later I got a phone call from Chris saying I got the job and I started in 3 days. And I ran with Foot Locker for about 2.5 years until senior year where it caught up to me. Having a discount again was really great. I'm not going to say how much. I don't want to disclose the Foot Locker discount. But it was great. They got releases. I was able to get a lot of shoes, and actually Foot Locker had better stock because I could get Adidas, Reebok, more than just Nike from the employee store. So I left senior year. I had to focus on school and made sure I graduated. I was not the smartest bulb in my classes. I was really good at PE, but that's about it. And then the summer after senior year, which is It's literally a year ago around this time. I said I'm gonna go for this, and I dove right into it, and I swear I changed my life with the collection. I made some of the best sales I've ever had in my life. I bought some of the best releases, selling them, creating more money for me to buy more shoes, and I grew about a 100 shoe collection to about a 180 shoe collection in a matter of 4 or 5 months, and I'm grateful. And I chose to go back to Foot Locker in the fall this year, and I did for 2 to 3 months, and it didn't work out. I couldn't feel it there. It wasn't something I was passionate about. I like to buy and sell, and I couldn't do that while I was working at Foot Locker. So basically, giving you a moral of a story, if you're a young kid, grind, do some chores, help your mom get you your first shoe. Parents, if not, get a side job, help the neighbor mow the lawn. Anybody can start a sneaker collection at any moment. If there's any regret I have in my life, it is that I didn't start my sneaker collection sooner. I wish I was doing this in like 4th and 5th grade instead of 7th grade. I lost 2 to 3 good years of building a sneaker collection, especially because the employee store closed only a year into me getting into it. And I obviously don't know how many, but I can strongly say for a fact I've been to over 40 sneaker events in my life, and every single event I go to, I was small in the beginning and I grew, and I'm still growing to this day every sneaker event I go to. So if you're starting small, don't sweat it. Just keep grinding, you'll get big. Just keep grinding, pursue your passion. And I know there's people in this business that are only in it to make the money, and you gotta avoid that. If you have a love for sneakers like I do, then keep pushing. It doesn't matter what shoe you have. You can get Roshis, you can get nmds, you can get Ultra Boosts. I don't want to rant too hard about it because the next video I'm gonna make is gonna go in depth about that. But I wanted to tell you guys how I was able to start my collection and how to grow it to getting it this big. And I also want to fill in some holes. A lot of you are very supporting the giveaway, and that's what I want. I want you to keep supporting, and remember, I'm giving away these shoes for you. It's not because I already have all these shoes. It's because I want to give back to the sneaker community. I want to do something for them. I want to support you guys, and that's why it's not just the Yeezy giveaway. I'm giving away the True Blue 3s and Tricolor NMDs. When you add it up, it's about $1,000 in shoes, but don't look at it like that. I'm giving you guys shoes because you guys are supporting me, and I'm gonna support you guys back. Also, if you didn't see in the video in the background, I bought the subscribe pillow off Amazon. It was $8, I had to get it. So yeah, that's how I started my sneaker collection. That's when I started and to where I am now. And I'm so excited because every year it gets bigger and better for me, and I can't wait to see what happens next. So this is another sit down video, but I hope it filled in a lot of information for you guys. This is Jabe signing off, and I'll see you guys in the next video.